Good evening, all, and welcome to episode 46 of the 3 for 1 Sky Fantasy podcast by Fantasy Football Hub. My name is Fergie, and I'm joined as usual by two of the most successful Sky managers in the game. Firstly, Paul McAnulty. Paul, did you fall into the Aspilicueta trap yesterday?
Yeah, I did, yeah, and until Man United scored scored there, I was ruining what could have been a dunk man of the match as well. It would have been a 10-pointer, so I'd have been royally pissed off if that had happened.
Did you captain him as well?
Yeah, I'm not too bothered about it. Like 65% of the top 1,000 own Aspilicueta.
Wow.
I imagine it would be like very highly captained.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I know who's got double Chelsea defence with Mendy and goals as well. So, yeah, I'm not overly bothered.
I saw there was a couple on Twitter yesterday that brought in, double or triple. I think I feel awkward. I can't remember who it was. I think it was someone who listened to our podcast, and they brought in Thiago Silva and captained him as well. And that's just
there's a couple, I think, weren't there?
Such hard luck. I mean, how can you possibly legislate? Conceded, was it 2 in 14? Or something stupid like that, and then 5 in 1 against West Brom. Absolute madness. Anyway, we also have former Sky winner Dan Cox with us. Dan, how was your Sky weekend been?
Yeah, like I said to you before, mate, if it weren't for that Chelsea freak result, it's been all right, Kane today, and yeah, I had Aspilicueta yesterday. The only bright side I can see, I've had him for a few weeks, so I've been getting the points from his clean sheets and stuff like that beforehand, and I didn't use a transfer to bring him in, and he was always going to be my captain. So, plus, it weren't the end of the world. Like, do you know what I mean? I could have captained Salah or Diaz. I've only lost out on 9 or 10 points. It's not the end of the world.
Was it? Am I being greedy, or do you think when Kane scored the 2 goals with like a whole half to play against Newcastle? Do you think it's being greedy to think he should have probably had a hat trick? I don't know. You take the 2 goals at the start of the game, obviously, but in a circumstance of the game, and he hit the post, didn't he? Kind of right at the end as well.
Yeah. And, he had the other little one where it got sort of around his legs. Yeah. He tried a little sort of back heel, didn't he? And you're like, go on, because he'd already got, when he got the second goal, he'd hit tier 2 shot bonus, and so
yeah, that was it.
He's not got any. It's not like he just has another weak shot and a save. Another point. Yeah, I'm thinking hat trick. There's got to be a hat trick here. So pretty disappointed. And I didn't even think he was going to get man of the match, because I just think, they're going to give it to a Newcastle player, aren't they?
Yeah, didn't he?
Poor old Kane, he deserves better than Spurs, didn't he?
A 36-point haul at the moment. The Kane captain have got 1 up on the Bruno captain, because there's a bit of a split, I think, as well, wasn't there? As we are live, please feel free to join in the chat at any time. Let us know your thoughts on the topics of the relevant sections, and feel free to ask some questions for us to answer at the end. Good evening, Apex Sector, Luke Shillito, Ryan Wilkins, Pete S, Tom Hartnell, Glenn Murray, Sean Gannon, Brownie, S. King, Saif Ali, Martin Beasley, Ben McCrum, and Bebe. Good evening all, and thank you so much for joining us. For any new watchers and listeners, if you haven't subscribed to us yet, please press the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen and set the alerts so you don't miss our live streams, which are 9 p.m. every Sunday evening right here on this channel. Also, please press the like button if you enjoy our content. So tonight, Paul will share some stats with us, and he's also going to demo FF Stuff's wonderful new tool, which helps to target specific teams. Dan will share the week's transfers in and out. Some interesting ones I noticed down at the top of the ins and the outs. So we'll take a look at that now. Some ownership stats and some transfers remaining stats. We will also look ahead to Sky Game Week 31, answer some Twitter questions, give some league updates, and finish off as usual with Dan's rant. If you haven't seen Dan's rant on Twitter, we will play that again. I'm sure Dan can embellish a little bit more on how his Easter festivities have gone. Zvonimir Boban, Paul, can we get a live stream watch along of WrestleMania next week? Zvonimir is asking. Is that something you can do, Paul? You'll be too pissed, probably, will you?
Well, I've just had a week's holiday off, so I'll actually be working next Monday, unfortunately. So I'll have to tape it and avoid the spoilers.
And good evening to Phil Hurst, who picked the correct captain today. Absolutely, no, it's so nice. When you hit a big captain, it's no better feeling in the world, is it? A straightforward Harry Kane brace. That's all you want in life, really. Okay, so Paul, we've got the match card from FF Step up on screen. Do you want to Talk us through them.
Yeah, so I'll just go through the games, and I'll talk about the more highly owned players, or perhaps some players to consider in your team. So looking at the Chelsea West Brom game, Azpilicueta picked up tier 1 passing, so that meant that us captainers avoided negative points return from him. Dan's favourite, Reece James, picked up shooting bonus. There's only one tackle. There's only one tackle as well.
He looked so dangerous, by the way, like really, really dangerous. He had a shot, he had those shots, and he was in and around that kind of edge of the 6-yard box a lot. He was so scary not to. Apologies, Paul, for jumping in there.
That's all right. And the same, Alonso as well.
Both of them.
So that's the two fullbacks. Kovacic did what a lot of Chelsea midfielders have done this season in terms of picking up the double bonus, so passing and tackling bonus for him. And then Mason Mount came off the bench and got shooting bonus. I think he's kind of going to be cemented in now for the first team. You would think that he's going to play in all the games, and he's tied it all nicely in terms of points returns.
Do you think, Paul, that we potentially underestimated Kante's injury in terms of defence? I know, obviously Silva got the red, right, which is quite inexplicable, but Kante has been awesome these last few weeks. Do you think that was a factor, or do you think it was just that Silva was rusty and got the red regardless?
Yeah, I don't know. Remember when Tuchel first came in, Kante never played the first 3 or 4 games, and they went on a run of clean sheets then as well. So I still felt Azpilicueta was the obvious captain, and the way that I play the game, pretty boring. Go with the captain. Everybody's going to pick the captaincy. So I was okay. Based on his high ownership and the Chelsea defensive high ownership, so I wasn't too concerned about what he returned. Sam Johnson in goals for West Brom, so he was in the top 20 for bonus since overhaul and top 20 for points since overhaul. And again, he's picked up tier 2 saves yesterday, along with his assist as well, which is impressive. And we know that Pereira had a massive haul, 26-point haul, 4 shots on target. Callum Robinson, two shots on target. But I think that those two are going to be they are lowly owned, and nobody's going to be really considering them. Moving on to the Leeds Sheffield United game, nothing much to talk about here. Jack Harrison picked up tier 1 shots, and then I guess to the dismay of any Leeds, those managers that were holding on to Leeds assets, Rafinha picked up man of the match and an assist, but no bonus for Bamford, no bonus for Dallas. So wasn't much really to talk about from a bonus perspective in that game. Leicester Man City, again, there wasn't too much bonus flying around here. I'd highlighted Ndidi as a player that I was considering when Leicester's good run start. He picked up tier 1 tackles. 3 of the back 4 for Man City picked up passing, Walker, Laporte and Diaz, and then Mahrez picked up shots. Nothing else to talk about from bonus front there. And then the last game of the day was Arsenal-Liverpool. So Nat Phillips, 80 passes, 3 tackles as well, so just shy tackle bonus. He looks to have nailed that place now beside Kabak in defence, so he might be someone that people are considering, especially those that are looking to get rid of Vestergaard. Milner, Thiago, Fabinho, Kabak all picked up passing as well. Jota, Salah and Mane all picked up shots, so I guess Liverpool players are going to be back on people's radars now. Nice 10-point return there for Alexander-Arnold. He didn't pick up any bonus, but he got the assist to go his clean sheet. And your man Lacazette got tackles bonus. Fergie.
That's what you want him in for, mate. That's
for his single game day.
That's what he's there for.
And then looking at today's games, so start with the Southampton-Burnley game. And if Danny Ings was fit, he'd be a lovely differential. I just don't know that I trust him to stay fit till the end of the season, because I don't want to really be rotating that spot. He got tier 2 shots, 3 shots on target. Ward-Prowse, he's owned by about 15% of the top 1,000, I think it is. Picked up tier 1 tackles. Nick Pope, tier 2 saves. That's probably about it in terms of ownership of players there. Newcastle Spurs, Kane, 4 shots on target, so picked up tier 2 shots. Højbjerg, who I really, really like, really rate. Spurs have got a double game week coming up. He was 1 tackle away from tackles bonus, picked up tier 2 passes. I think he's on 140-ish points for the season. Really, really good value. I'm surprised he's so lowly owned. Villa Fulham, not much to talk about here. Martinez picked up tier 2 saves, so 5-point return for those that have stuck with him. I think he's on 55% of top 1,000. I know people have moved on to Mendy and such like so far. And then I guess, that's it. I've not got the scorecard up for the Man United Brighton game.
Cool. And while we're with you, Paul, if that's okay, you wanted to just show everyone this crazy new tool from ffstuff.co.uk, one of our partners at the Hub.
Yeah, so what Frank's done is he's pulled together all the stats, and this is looking at opposition against the teams. So what I've always considered is who's the teams that give up possession a lot when I'm looking at defensive runs. So for that Leicester block of 4 games, are they, even though they're teams at the bottom of the league, are they teams that give up possession a lot, so that my defenders are starting on 5 points as opposed to 2 points? I always like, when I'm doing defensive transfers, I always like to have a base of 5 points before bringing them in. I don't, unless it's a value pick, I don't see much merit in going for defenders, even on easy runs when they don't have that sort of passing bonus. So the first tab that I'm looking at, so I think it's called Sky Deep Dive in terms of the stats section, if anyone's looking. The first one was total shots and target conceded to opposition players, and that was you can fill it for any time frame that you want. So I've done it from the overhaul to present. And if you have a look on screen just now, Brighton, 13 shots since the overhaul they've conceded. They are by far the best team, and that kind of went into my thinking when I was choosing between Kane and Bruno for captain today as well, because the second best team is Crystal Palace, and they're 7 shots better, so only 20 conceded from Crystal Palace too. And then if you go up to the top there, you can see Sheffield United conceded 52. So I think Bamford captainers yesterday could count themselves a little unlucky, same with Rafinha captainers. Leeds still conceding a lot of shots, 39, they're second. That's on average 5 per game. Everton, West Brom, Southampton, Wolves, all 5 shots per game as well. Really, really great tool. And then I also looked at total passes conceded. So Frank had posted a great stat the other day. There was only one player that's got passing bonus against Leeds this season, and that's Andreas Christensen. And have a look, like they are from since the overhaul from game week 23 onwards. Leeds only conceding 274 passes per game to the opposition. They're again by far out ahead, and same with Brighton as well, only 293 and sitting second. Really impressive stats
West
there.
West Ham's surprising at the top of that list. You wouldn't think that West Ham would be the team who give up the most possession in the league.
Yeah, I think that's maybe just the opposition that they've had since game week 23. They've had a lot of the top teams.
Okay.
Everton, I probably wouldn't have had second either, and they sat just behind them. But yeah, really great tool. Really helps in terms of planning your transfers, planning captaincy picks.
Wow.
I'll definitely look at that.
That's next level stuff there from FF Stuff. Well done, Frank. We're really, really digging down, into the data with all the tools on Fantasy Football Hub, all the tools on FF Stuff. We're really, really digging down, in how to pick, your players, in terms of passing and shots conceded. I mean, this is bloody superb stuff. So well done, Frank. For everyone listening on the podcast and not watching on YouTube, it's well worth just having a look on YouTube, just to see what Frank is producing. It's incredible stuff. Good evening to all those that joined us late in the chat. Ian Parry, Mark Wright, Jimmy Stevens, Liam Dorrian, Sean Gannon, Luke Shillito, 2-1 United apparently, Greenwood goal, Pogba assist, and John Maloney. Useless. Welcome all. Okay, Dan, most transferred out, and top to me is quite surprising.
Yeah, James Ward-Prowse, most transferred out, 2,371. This is all in the last 7 days. So yeah, he's number one. Son, 1,905. Then Saka, 1,651. Rashford, scored tonight, 1,482. And then Gareth Bale at 1,143. You
can see João Cancelo transferred out. Aubameyang out is, well, mind you, after yesterday's showing, I'm not sure how many
useless, mate.
Yesterday's showing. Sterling, Stones, all in that list.
Dunk, do you see Dunk? Not surprising, is it? Because I think a lot of would have been Dunk was at 1,058 teams, and a lot would have gone to Azpilicueta because it made sense, didn't it? So quite relieved, I suppose, that Brighton conceded tonight, because that would have been typical, wouldn't it?
A couple of other interesting ones just underneath that as well. Mohamed Salah transferred out of 339 teams. I think we've been talking for a while, haven't we? About how Liverpool just need to kind of flick a switch, and with their running, their fixtures are awesome. They've got single captaincy day requirements. I think that's a bit of a I can kind of understand the people who did it maybe the week before and the week before that, but to do it in the last week, to me, is I don't know, he's a bit mad. And just underneath that is a player who I'm thinking of bringing in this week, which is Rui Patricio. So he's been transferred out again, the same amount as Salah, 339 teams. So interesting there as well. Transferred in, Dan, the most transferred in.
Azpilicueta, 2,088. So they'd have all been delighted with yesterday, wouldn't they? Nightmare. Kane into 2001.
The owners will be pleased.
Buzzing. Yeah. Calvert-Lewin into 1,479. Probably going to be the most popular captain tomorrow, so it makes sense. Lingardinho, 1,261. Again, he's just been amazing, hasn't he? I forgot what the stats were I put on the article, but he scored so many points in his last 6 or 7 games, just been unreal. So why not? And he's cheap. De Bruyne, 1,174. As well as he played yesterday and got man of the match, he only finished the game with 5 points. Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot of money for not much returns. And that was your top 5. I was going to mention as well, Bamford was one of the most transferred in as well, 1,131. And Mendy at Chelsea, like you said, people have doubled up with the Chelsea defenders and stuff. So Mendy was brought into exactly 1,000 teams, so not the best start. I could have probably done better in goal for Chelsea yesterday. He looked terrible. Not for the match of the day.
Jota as well. That was a nice move for those who brought him in yesterday. Obviously, well, especially as he started on the bench as well. He came on and got the 2. It seems to me, I don't know how you guys feel, there seems to me be a real shift in terms of, fixtures and template. Just kind of looking at some of the names on this now, some massive shifts in terms of, like I say, Mendy, Mount, Jota, Luke Shaw, Werner, Iheanacho, Maddison, Reece James, Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka. Bruno had 304 transferred in the last week as well, so people have been kind of shifting him around. But I think this is the time of the season. If you look at this fixture swing that's going to happen from next week, to me, this is the time where we can really look to differentiate. If you've got the transfers left, because so many teams, as we touched on last week, Paul did a whole piece on the fixture swings for these teams. There's some really, really interesting teams and players to pick up on there. Top 1K ownership, Dan.
Bruno, 97.7. Harry Kane, 96.2.
Did with that.
Yeah, I did that poll, didn't I? Like for the captaincy today, I only put Bruno and Kane, and that was 75% to Kane. So being horrible like I am, I hope that quite a few people did captain Bruno, so it's a little gain, but they'll own Kane. Do you know what I mean? So it's only it's only 18 points or so low. Well, actually, it's quite a lot, isn't it? Moving on to third. Diaz, 94%. Salah, 71.4%. So he dropped a bit, but I thought that might have been a bit lower. Azpilicueta, 67.4. Rafinha, 59.5. Martinez, 56.9. Gundogan, 52%. Antonio, 45.4. And Cancelo, 41.1.
Massive move there for Aspie. I'm sure, was he on 35 last week? Although he's definitely around 35. So 67
might have it in it.
That is absolutely massive increase in the last week or two. But yeah, I still own, I think, 9 out of those first 11. They'll definitely be making a couple of transfers in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully, to kind of break away to try and get a few gains. Phil Hurst says Jota over Salah looks like a good pick to me. I mean, hard to argue, really. Kind of 9.1 as well. You can if you've got De Bruyne, and Bruno and a few more of the expensive guys and Kane, you may need to And if you came off Salah as well, which we know a lot did over last month because he's been very frustrating, then Jota could be a really good differential kind of back in. So if we look at the top 1K ownership there, Jota is not in the top 50. He hasn't got over 15%. And Luke Schlitto says Dan really has mastered the Gundogan pronunciation. Great work.
Yes,
congratulations.
I'm glad someone appreciates that.
Exactly. And finally, Dan, for you, average transfers remaining. They seem pretty static.
Yeah, they are. So this was 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So top 10, 8.6, top 100, 8, spot on, top 1,000, 8.7, and the top 5,000, 8 again.
Yeah.
So been pretty static. I think the top 10 even went up 0.1. I'm sure that was 8.5, and then it actually went up. So mad. So hopefully, I think they'd have gone down a bit. There'd have been some moves Saturday, and there'll be moves again today and tomorrow. So I think they'll start nudging down now.
And Ian Parent, 80% have either Edison or Marseille. It will be interesting to see how many go to Patricio tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to touch on that in a few of the questions in a moment. Okay, so let's have a look at Gameweek 31. So looking forward to next week. Friday, the 9th of April, we have Fulham against Wolves. So obviously this is part of the thinking around, those including myself. We're thinking, bringing in the Wolves keeper or the Wolves, a Wolves defender, or maybe Neto, or if you were lucky enough to hold Adebayo at wildcard Paul, then you're all right. Saturday the 10th, we have Man City against Leeds. You get to see the lineups, which could be quite important, for Gundogan owners, maybe Stones owners, Cancelo owners, because you get to know if he's going to play. So if not, you can potentially move them on to Liverpool or Chelsea player, for example, who are playing the same day. Liverpool and Villa play at 3:00. Palace and Chelsea at 5:30, and then Sunday the 11th we had Burnley against Newcastle. Not much going on there, I would guess, for Sky. West Ham play Leicester. That should be a really good game. Spurs and Man United should also be a fantastic game at 4:30. And then finally Sheffield United against Arsenal before Monday we finish off West Brom against Southampton and Brighton against Everton. Paul, can I come to you first? Best captain and transfer opportunities Friday the 9th?
Tosin Adebayo.
Do you think he's the best captain, or just because you got him?
Well, I think him or Anderson from Fulham's the best captaincy on Friday, because I think they'll get passing bonus. I think the game's going to be a low-scoring game. Both are threats from set pieces. I wouldn't be punting on either attackers from either side. I know that some people will go for Neto, especially maybe from Rafinha to Neto tomorrow, or those are moving like Vestergaard on from 4-3-3 to 3-4-3, and might be an option for them there. I just even though Wolves have got nice fixtures, I'm just not sure that Martinez is going to that Patricio. He very seldom picks up saves bonus. Wolves have a habit of conceding one. I think if you've got Tosin or Anderson, I think I wouldn't necessarily make a transfer, and I think that they're as good captaincy options as anybody else.
Cool. Ian says Jimenez as a differential apparently brought himself into his own FPL team. That would be a bit of a surprise if tomorrow he's I definitely can't see him being in the starting 11. But yeah, Jimenez will very likely be 0% owned in the top 1K. Paul, so you're not convinced with Wolves, or is it just because you think Fulham are the better option?
Well, Wolves defenders never pick up passing bonus anyway, so and don't have strong attacking threat. So what the ceiling for a Wolves player is probably 7 points.
Okay.
No, 7. If it was guaranteed 7 points, that's nice, right? And Wolves do have a nice run, so I could see why people would want to move them on. But any defender moves I make, I'm always eyeing up passing bonus potential or attack or any other bonus potential, and I just don't see it with Wolves defenders. I can understand the Patricio, certainly if I didn't have Tosin, because you get the coverage of a captain. Who do they play after? Fulham. They've
got a really nice run
I
of
know
fixtures.
Sheffield United, Burnley, West Brom, Brighton. So I appreciate they do have a good run, and I think Villa's away to Liverpool and then play Man City as well. So I can see why. That move appeals, but because I've already got the captaincy covered, I don't feel that I need to.
It's interesting. Just quickly on fixtures. So we mentioned, in that run they've got West Brom, Sheffield United, and who was the other one? Sorry,
Burnley.
Burnley, right? So
West Brom.
Burnley prep, a decent showing, obviously, against thing, and West Brom have just put 5 past Chelsea, right? It's come to that kind of part of the season maybe where kind of the normal sort of form. You find that certain teams are on the relegation zone really start to kind of step it up, and the FDRs, the difficulty ratings and stuff, could be not as reflective as they usually are around the chances of a team's thing. But anyway, just thought I'd
I know they had a nice run earlier on this season, when people picked Patricio before, and I know that they were on they had changed the formation slightly, hadn't they? They were playing 4 at the back as opposed to their traditional 5 at the back. But I'm sure owners at the time will testify to the fact that how easily Wolves were conceding goals, conceding 1 in quite a lot of games. Again, they don't get their goal peppered, so Patricio's not picking up saves bonus. I don't know. As I say, I see the appeal if you don't have the captaincy covered, and you're getting the extra game. But
talking me out of it, Paul. You're talking me out of it, flipping neck.
I think that Patricio, the people that bring Patricio in, will look to move on again at some point as well.
Yeah, because
the last 3 is difficult, right?
Yeah,
if they played, and I don't know the fixtures aren't announced, but when they play Brighton, if they played that on the Friday or the Saturday, I could see people wanting to move off to perhaps there might be double game weeks around that time as well, like Villa. So it might be that you're moving it back on to Martinez, but then you've made two transfers for goalkeepers.
And Brighton are no mugs as well, right? Either they play now as well, don't they? As part of this nice run, and Brighton have just scored against United and maybe could have scored 1 or 2 more, and they put 3 past Newcastle, which is no mean feat in all fairness. But just a couple in the chat. David Jack, Patricio, never again, and AD Tour, Wolves don't have anything to play for. Interesting to see how they fare. Martin says United 2-1 full time. So Man United have just beaten Brighton 2-1, a late Marcus Greenwood goal. And Douglas Fisher, good evening from Rio de Janeiro. Grateful for captaining Kane. Save me from a disastrous weekend. Good evening. I'm not sure whether it's even afternoon or morning in Rio at the moment, but great to have you with us live, Douglas. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, Dan, Saturday the 10th, Man City Leeds, Liverpool, Villa, Palace, Chelsea. What are your thoughts?
I've just been thinking for about 5 minutes what I was going to say about Patricio.
Okay, do you want to go on to Patricio? Actually, no, I think.
Nah, I was just going to say, I really ain't sure about it. I think it's because you think, if you ain't got a captain for Friday, it's like I could bring in and captain him, but I just think I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. It just looks like it's a big sort of waste of a transfer. It's going to be one of them ones where I think Fulham will score. They look lively. Actually, it was Lookman.
I think he went off injured, didn't he?
Is that looking a bad one? I didn't see the game. Do you know what I mean? So I'd maybe just try and get some news on that. But I don't know if Fulham, maybe they might be a bit sort of done in after losing today and stuff like that. But if anyone was going to stay up, I think it was going to be them. So I just don't know. I'm just really not sure. Like Paul said, if you move him in, I think you're just going to move him out again. And I'd always said I hate wasting transfers on keepers. So I don't know, mate. But I'll go on to your question. The 10th, yeah, best captain for the 10th.
Yes.
Who had Chelsea got? Azpilicueta. Do I dare do that again? I think Azpilicueta. Possibly Diaz. He should get passing against Leeds if he starts. He should get passing.
He'd only be the second player this season to get passing bonus against Leeds if he did.
Hard one. It's a hard one because obviously you've got Salah against Villa as well. And Villa have looked a bit, flaky at the back. Paul, what's
Champions League midweek as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Paul, what do you think about that day?
I'm going to captain Salah, I think.
You're captain Salah. You're going for the attacking upside.
If I had De Bruyne, I would have considered. I'm not going to make a transfer just to bring him in. If I had De Bruyne, I would maybe consider him at home to Leeds. But I think I'm going to captain Salah. I don't think that they're going to rest their best players too much now, knowing that they've now got a chance to get back in the top 4 again.
I think that might be the game potentially where Aspie gets a game. So there's no way they're going to rest him against Porto in midweek, and there's no way they're going to rest him in the second leg against Porto. So, I don't know, obviously, but my guess would be I don't think he plays 4 games in 11 days personally. He may not. I think I'll probably go with Salah as well, I think, on that one. And Leeds, with Rafinha's class and set pieces and things, they could always pinch a goal against City. So I think probably go Salah on that day as well. Sunday the 11th. Paul, what do you think about this day?
This is quite interesting because Spurs play Man United. I'm actually thinking of captain Bruno
against Spurs.
Yeah, I think Man United's away form is a lot better than their home form. Bruno does well away from home. It'd be one of the two of them, I think. But it's a good day for a differential captain as well. Those that are holding Lingard, Antonio, Vardy, even.
I was going to say you could
or your man
Lacazette.
I was going to say your man Lacazette.
I think after yesterday, I'm not sure Lacazette's
right
now in my plans, but we'll see.
Well, if Luiz is out, Holding could be a shout again. Knowing that the Arsenal Everton game's coming up, and captaincy would be required for that. But yeah, I think I'll be captaining Bruno.
Dan, what are your thoughts on the Sunday?
Yeah, tricky, mate. Like Paul said, sort of Antonio, Kane, Bruno, if you fancy him. You do look at that, like Arsenal, Sheffield United, Fulham, Everton, and a couple of captaincies there you could have as well. So you do think, oh yeah, your man Lacazette, Aubameyang, I keep hearing he's going to win someone the game, so he might be an option. I just don't know, mate. It's so hard. I do like the look of Antonio, but I suppose it's a bit risky away to at home to Leicester. I don't know, mate. That is a hard one. Stuck. I was even thinking Soyuncu, but he ain't going to be back, so scrap that plan.
Just quickly to touch back on, on those thinking of doing Martinez to Patricio. Mark Lewington says, and it's a fair point that Martinez is fixture proof. It's just the fixtures, I think. They've got Liverpool and City next. Then they've got West Brom. Then they've got Everton, United and Palace. But then Liverpool and City are probably going to have a fair few shots at Martinez. We know what Martinez like for save points. It's a real tough one. It's not having that captaincy for me on the Friday. That's the one. It's like, is this the discipline we need, to actually just on to Martinez, and maybe think about using that transfer elsewhere in the future when you really, really need it, especially if you're low on transfers, right? So after this weekend, I'm probably, on par with everyone else. I've got 7 left. Definitely want a couple of Leicester players. Is it worth maybe jumping on someone like Vardy or Iheanacho or, someone with real upside over the next month and going just with a Patricio pick, which, may get you, all right. He may get you a clean sheet, right? But, you could, and I do agree, you're going to want to get rid of him. And Villa have got a game or so more to play as well, haven't they? That haven't been arranged yet. So interesting one, that one.
Patricio, sorry mate. No, so say you bring him in tomorrow, right? So one transfer, bring him in tomorrow. You're probably not going to captain him, are you? If you've got Calvert-Lewin or Antonio. So if you've got Antonio anyway, you're bringing in a keeper against someone you want to score, right? So we won't keep a clean sheet tomorrow, yeah. If you don't keep the clean sheet on Friday when he's captain, that's 4 points. I just don't know. And then again, if you don't keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United, then you move him on. So you use 2 transfers. If I'm going to bring him in 1 transfer, then take him out again, keep him for 3 games, I want a clean sheet in every game. Do you know what I mean? And I think might get 1. Do you know what I mean? I think, is that worth 2 transfers when you sort of would normally say you want a transfer to be 15 points or something like that? Yeah. So I want to use 2 transfers on a goalkeeper. And let's be honest, you wouldn't touch him if I went for this Friday night game. So that's where you think, do you think, nah, I'll just ignore Friday night. Hope that's a 1-1, and I've lost that with 4 points and do it that way. But
with a tossing goal.
Yeah. What? Hard to disagree, gents. It is hard to disagree. A couple of really good shouts in the chat. Ian Parrin, Sunday best captain Pope, Burnley home to Newcastle. If you are holding Pope, what a shout that is. Although they did look quite decent against Spurs. They had an XG of over 4 against Spurs. Then obviously Burnley shipped 3 as well. But he's one.
I looked earlier on, and his ownership was just over 1% in the top 1,000. Yeah. Remember at this point last season, he's
massive,
that incredible run.
Well, sorry, mate, to interrupt you again, right? And the other thing is, if you've got Martinez and you want to take him out, Villa has still got that game against Everton.
Yeah.
I know people might have Calvert-Lewin, but they might be thinking of getting rid of him. So if you're going to get rid of Calvert-Lewin and Martinez, and then that game comes in somewhere, then you've got no one for that game, and you'll be like,
only held on to
transferred out someone.
Yeah.
So it's just something to think about.
You know what? I think talking that through, because I was pretty set on Patricia, but talking it through, as you just have now, I think if you look back in a month's time, you think, why the hell did I go get Patricio in for that stupid single game day when you could have held, arguably the keeper of the season, right? He's been absolutely unreal, and even against these better teams, because he's so good at shot stopping, he's going to get saves. Even if he concedes a couple, he could still get 4 or 5 points. So I think that's a really decent argument. And another good shout, actually, and this is what I may do on Saturday, if Gundogan starts against Leeds, I think he could be a great captain option against Leeds, because you can just see the contrasting styles of play, right? Leeds try and play out and pass from the back, and they are calamitous, right? Absolutely calamitous. And City are just not going to let them get out really easy. How many times have we seen, Meslier kind of giving the ball away, and all defenders messing around with the ball? They're going to have, whoever it, right? De Bruyne, Jesus, Mahrez, Sterling, maybe Gundogan, just on them the whole game. You can see a couple of goals from a few mistakes there. So I think that, Gundogan could potentially be a really good captaincy shout on the Saturday. Yeah, and really hard on the Sunday. Paul, the Sunday, any thoughts? Have I asked you, sorry, on the Sunday?
Yeah, Bruno, sorry,
yeah. And I asked you, Dan, didn't I? And you said you weren't sure.
Yeah, I weren't really sure, mate, to be honest.
Monday then, West Brom against Southampton and Brighton against Everton. So those hold on to Vestergaard. Obviously, maybe need to bear this in mind if you don't have an Everton player. Dan, best captain for that evening?
Won't be Vestergaard for me, mate. I'm sick of him. Can't wait to get him out. Probably Calvert-Lewin against Brighton. Yeah, that'll be it for me. Again, Southampton have got they play Spurs, don't they? In that game, they've got to come. They've got a game to play against Spurs, haven't they? Yes. Still got to be arranged. Yeah. So yeah, you don't need to. I was then thinking about taking Vestergaard out, but you might need Southampton. But I know we got the fixtures, but no. Calvert-Lewin, don't captain Vestergaard. He's just been useless since the overhaul. It's just that he had that little spell, didn't he, earlier on in the season before he got injured. He was amazing.
Oh, he was awesome, wasn't he?
And then been terrible.
I'm thinking on the Monday. I think those that held on to Lewis Dunk could be he could be the best captaincy on that day. So if looking at those stats earlier on, Brighton have a lot of passes and don't concede a lot of passes to teams. So you think Dunk's in a good shout of getting passing bonus. They have only averaged 2 shots on target against them per game. So even if Calvert-Lewin scores, what's his ceiling there? If he one goal, 7 points or 9 points with the shooting bonus? I wouldn't advise people against captain and Dunk that day if they're still holding on to him.
Cool. Okay. Okay then. So, I'm probably going to go for Calvert-Lewin. I haven't quite worked out my plan yet. On jumping on Leicester. Just as an example now, right? So I just talked. I potentially saved myself a transfer. In terms of Patricio, if I'm clever with my funds, just looking at the fixtures, could potentially do a double or triple up on Leicester, right? And I suppose that's maybe the better way of doing it, attacking those fixtures there. Okay, let's move on then to questions, of which we have had another load. Thank you so much, everyone, for sending in your questions. First from Vestergaard, Martin Beasley, what to do with Vestergaard? We also had questions of Reese Sky FF, what to do with Vestergaard. Martin says, think I'll bid him after the West Brom away game for an Arsenal player, maybe sacking or holding for the single game day. So Saka, Paul, come to you. What do you think about not Saka, Vestergaard, in terms of whether to keep or hold, and who do you think are the best replacements and when?
Yeah, I'd probably get rid of him. I think Fofana is a great shout. So Nat Phillips, Fofana, Holden. If we get any more information on Louise, and we know that
I think he's out for the season by the sounds I heard this afternoon.
Yeah, so Holden, Phillips, Fofana, all good shouts. If you don't have captaincy for Friday, you could pick Tosin. You're not getting an extra game now from this game week. Yeah, I think all of those are good shouts.
I think as well, just add in as well, we should know obviously in 9 or 10 days whether Arsenal are going to go through in the Europa League. We'll know by a week Thursday, at which point you can actually make a pretty good decision, right? So, if they are knocked out, for example, someone like Saka becomes much more nailed on. But if they go through, they will very likely rotate, is my guess. So, I think that's probably something to think about. Dan, what are your thoughts on Vestergaard? Are you keeping him or chucking him, and who for?
He's gone. I'd agree with Paul, apart from Tosin, because you'd have done the move today, I think, because they play today. But yeah, Phillips, Fofana, Holding. If you get some news on Louise, then I think them. Liverpool one intrigues me though, because I say everyone else is injured, aren't they? So he should be playing. He's going to get passing bonus and stuff. So might be something a bit different. People will bring him in, but yeah, no, I like the idea of him, and yeah, the other two are fine as well.
Leads on nicely to some questions we've had off John Maloney and FPL Foxy around Leicester defenders. So you mentioned Fofana, and I agree, on paper looks really good. We know that Soyuncu is currently got COVID and is not in the plans. How do you think they're going to kind of line up, because they've got kind of three centre backs for a couple of spots, haven't they? In Evans, Soyuncu, and Fofana. Dan, I'll ask you, how do you think they're going to line up, and do you think Fofana is nailed in the back line?
Yeah, I think all them three will play, because he's been playing three centre backs, hasn't he? Because even at the weekend, was it Amati or someone he played?
Yeah.
Someone he played in there. So yeah, I think when they're fit, that'll be them three.
Okay.
It's just whether he changes formation and goes to the back four. So there's no Europe for Leicester, so that's good. So why not? They're still trying to get a top four finish, aren't they? So I think they'll have quite a strong end to the season now. So, and although I said I never touch Vardy again, he is on a short list.
Yeah, and with Fofana especially, because of his price, he's so cheap. If you do want to get to Vardy, obviously Fofana I think is a couple of million less than Soyuncu, for example, isn't he? So so maybe Fofana kind of maybe a good shout there. Paul, Leicester defenders, which are the best ones, and when are you planning on bringing them in?
Yeah, I think I'd mentioned last week that I'll look to bring them in against West Brom on the 22nd, and you get to see the lineup as well.
Yeah.
You probably have more information on Barnes by that point, because I think the whole formation revolves around Barnes, because if Maddison comes back in, he could just play the position that Jose Perez has been playing, and therefore they could stick with the back three. Whereas if Barnes comes back, they play more like they play with wingers, so they might revert to back four then. So more information. I'm happy to wait out until then. I'm only going to miss the West Ham game next week, and then that starts off Leicester's good run.
A couple of questions about Martinez. I think we might have answered this. So if Martin Muldoon and Liam Dorrian keep Martinez and got no Wolves, Martin says the thought of a Wolves player makes him awfully sad. And Liam says, what are your plans for Martin? Stick or twist? So I think we've answered that now. I think I was pretty set, but listening to these guys, I think now probably give it a miss. You just watch now. You watch him get a massive
clean sheet and penalty save on Friday.
Five clean sheets on the bounce. That'll be a disaster.
Actually, you know what Fulham are like for penalties? They'll get they'll put it wide.
Yeah, you're right there. And just a couple of questions while we're on there on transfers. So Liam also asks, how many transfers do you plan on having come the start of May? And Ian Parrin also asks, for those with transfers in hand, is it worth waiting until May before making moves in hope that fixtures fall more unkindly than those in April? So we mentioned it last week. The fixtures for the second half of April have landed really, really nicely. For anyone who's got a reasonably sort of template team, there's only potentially one or two fixtures you've got to really do any work for. Dan, in terms of number of transfers left come May, waiting until the fixtures, what are your current thoughts?
Hang on, I've got 9 now. I think I'll have 7 coming into the last 5 game weeks. Yeah,
cool. That sounds like that pretty specifically, Dan. Paul, what about you?
I've got 12 currently.
12?
12?
12? Jeez. You'll have one left, can be.
I'm planning on bringing in 3 Leicester players. And I was going to do the hokey cokey with the striker spots as well. So I reckon I'll have 7 or 8.
Okay, blimey, that is...
Well, that's bad 12. News, isn't it?
I think Dan.
Anyway, for those for listeners, I'm in a group chat with Dan earlier on, and he started cheering when Trezeguet scored for Villa. So I posted a comment. I was like, "Are you really bothered about the 6.8% of managers in the top 1,000 that have Tosin?" And he's like, "Nah, just one." Obviously, in reference to me. So cheers for that.
I think that Dan has just been crushed because I think he thought he was going to walk away with the podcast. I think he thought he probably had about
only 20 points ahead of him. 20 points ahead, and he's got 5
transfers.
What, 5, 6 transfers on me?
Ooh.
Nightmare.
That is a
nightmare, isn't it? Well, at least I'll be top now for a few weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I've got 7. I will very likely, kind of go along the thing of 1 per game week left. May double up on Leicester. May do a triple. Depends. It depends where you are as well, right? And kind of what you're chasing. So at the moment, 139th. I'm not pulling up any trees top of a mid-league or 2. I'm not going to win it. So I'm pretty happy to plod along and get a decent sort of finish there. So maybe double Leicester, depending how they look, depending what's happening at that time. May go a bit more. Jota is interesting me, after yesterday's performance in their fixtures. A lot more than Lacazette is at the moment, I've got to say. But, plenty of planning to go on there. Liam, I'd be interested to see, if you're willing to share how many transfers you've got left as well, because you're right in the mix here as well, aren't you? Luke NDN, time to pin off John Stones. I'm not sure that's even a question, to be honest. I think, well, obviously, wait to see if he starts on Saturday. If he doesn't start, get binned. As you say, only started 4 the last 8, and there are better options for single, double, dame. 100% Luke. If he starts on Saturday, probably leave him. Otherwise, just let him go. He's literally playing every other game. Christ, all the transfers are coming through now in the chat. Look at this, right? Seems the average is 8. Luke Shillito, I'm on 12. Martin said, he says 12, nice, Paul. Mickey Rooney says 14, we're being too cautious. Ian Parrin, 12 here too. Martin Beasley, 9 for me. Wow, lot of very reserved and well thought out managers here in the chat. You're far better than I am, stuck on my bloody 7. I think I'm going to be swiftly overtaken. There I was hoping to hold rank, and I've got all these gangsters on my tail kind of chasing me. Jamie Stevens says 13 here, and Sussex Martin says 12 here as well. So Dan, I'm not sure. Your position in the top 100 may not be as.
Oh no, that's nail, mate. Easy.
That's nail. Lee Williams, Liverpool defenders, Kabak or Nat Phillips now an option. Amazing run of fixtures. Hard to argue, really. Paul, you did mention them earlier. Do you want to embellish a little bit?
I'm not too sure how much I can embellish.
Okay.
More than what's like both brilliant prices. Like we've said a few times before, Liverpool's got fantastic fixtures.
Yeah.
They two seem nailed now. I think like moving Fabinho back into midfield, noticed a massive difference on their offensive outlay as well. So I think both of them's great value. What game day did they play next week? Yeah, so they play on the Saturday. So I guess Tosin to Phillips could be a shout for me on Saturday.
Dan, what are your thoughts on the two Liverpool centre backs?
Yeah, I like him. Like I say, I've got Vestergaard, who I'm looking to get rid of. So, do you know what I mean? I don't know. I could keep him for the West Brom game. Won't keep a clean sheet or get past some bonus, and then I could take him out on the Monday the 19th if there's any madness. Well, actually, I've got Rafinha, but I say in case Salah doesn't start or anything for whatever reason, but I've got Rafinha in case. I like them both. I do need to get Vestergaard out of my team though, pretty sharp. But she's just annoying me just sitting in there. So yeah, I'm not adverse to having either or. Don't really bother me. Well, no, I'd go for the cheaper one. Is it Phillips is a lot cheaper, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Steve Cheek kind of asked the same as the Stokes question earlier. Is Gundogan still a keep or move on after Leeds? It just, obviously depends on how many captaincies you've got. Depends on how many transfers you've got. If he doesn't start against Leeds, he's probably an easy move, I would guess. They blanked on they in game week 33 as well. The Champions League is their priority, But I do, I would say I do think it is worth holding on a little bit, if you're not sure on a couple of transfers, because like I say, we're going to have some clues this week on which teams might go through in Europe and which ones might not, and by next week we'll definitely know, and I just think that you've got that Liverpool Leeds game next Monday, just as an example, if Salah played a few games, got Madrid either side, obviously played yesterday. They've got Villa as well on Saturday. You just not 100% sure. I just think it is worth just keeping an eye on them. For teams like Arsenal, especially Liverpool, maybe a little bit less. Chelsea as well, Aspilicueta and things like that. Anyway, I'm prattling on now. Last couple of questions. Question off Ewan. What a position this is, right? So I'm 2,000 rank, 11 subs left, 100 clear of second, who has no transfers left, and 300 clear of third and fourth in my mini league, who each have under 10 subs. Do I just see the season out, or go balls out to try and improve overall rank and hope I hold on to first place in mini league? My answer would be, Ewan, just play it sensibly, right? It doesn't matter if you finish 2,000th or 500th. Obviously, your objective is winning your mini league. Just play it sensibly. I think you do really well to lose it, though. I got to be honest. From there, like you would do incredible. You have to change your whole team to a bunch of knobheads to lose that. But I would just play sensibly. You got 11 subs. It's well above the average. Anything different there, gents?
Nah, I'll just play like what do you say, 2,000th?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just with those transfers would get you further up the leaderboard anyway, because that's a good amount to have, and you can just take advantage of these captaincy days. Like, don't do anything mad, like I don't know, bring in someone random and just captain for the sake of it. I'll just keep playing sensible and could get up to top 500 anyway, I should think. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just keep going. I think see out the mini league.
Cool. So some really good chat going on, around when to jump on Liverpool. Ian said, move it on Liverpool, maybe a Monday night football versus Leeds. If you want to be aggressive with the transfers and things. Some really good stuff in the chat. They're all discussing how to best use the transfers over the next couple of weeks. Couple of final questions. Tom Hartnell, any updates on the stag do? Paul the stag, any You don't even know.
I don't know why you're asking me. You should be asking Dan.
We're just waiting,
Dan,
right? So we're
man.
waiting on Boris to like say everything's all right because everyone, all these knobheads in Leeds that are having a festival in this park, right? You are going to slow everything down. So we're basically waiting for Boris to say everything's all right, and then we'll get some dates booked in. We don't even know if Paul can leave the country yet because Nicola, she might not let him out. Do you know what I mean? So as soon as we can book something, we'll book something, and then I'll give Thomas he'll print the t-shirts. We're all systems go. We're still looking for someone to put us up. At least me and Paul. Do you know what I mean? If you can stretch a Fergie as well, that's even better.
Thanks. I'll sleep in a ditch. Frank FF stuff. Those knobheads are tomorrow's FF Hub subscribers. Lol. I wasn't calling the guys in his mini league knobheads. I said you would have to change your team to a right bunch of knobheads, as in crap Sky. Have a crap Sky team. I wasn't calling anyone knobheads. I would never do that unless I'm in a ranty mood, which we'll see. Glenn Murray says, make sure Korf's question goes in first. I'll take a look at that.
We don't have time for that.
I'll take a look at that in a sec. We've managed to squeeze in a crisps question. FPL Darbs. Quavers have released their salt and vinegar and prawn cocktail. They used to do those, didn't they? Years ago.
It was in the multi-pack. It was in the multi-pack. You used to get 6. You used to get 2 of each.
You did. He says, but cheese will never be beaten in my opinion. Do you agree? Dan, do you remember those? Are you old enough? They have in your country?
No, I can only remember like just regular Quavers.
Really?
I remember
No,
this.
they had on a multi-pack. They definitely used to have salt and
were
vinegar.
awesome.
I'm not a crisps connoisseur, mate, to be honest.
Paul, what are your favourites? Or if you have to choose out the 3?
I'm not a prawn cocktail crisp flavoured fan, to be honest. So I'd either I like the salt and vinegar ones. They're all right. The
cheese ones, my kids have them, and it's the dust on. I've got a bit of a phobia. I love crisps, right? But every time I have a crisp, I have to wipe my fingers. I've got a bit of like a crisp dust thing, right? And even when apparently my mother, she tells a story of when she used to like wheel me downtown in the pushchair. I'd have like a bag of crisps when I was like, I don't know,
this a couple of years ago.
Well, yeah, when I was like 2, apparently, every time I had a crisp, I used to like hold my hand up over the top of the pushchair, and she would wipe all the dust on my hands. And even to this day now, and that smell of the cheese dust, oh no.
I do hate the Watsits, mate, where they probably make your fingers orange, don't they? It's like, what is this?
Speaking of Woody, Dan, on Toy Story 2 where they spill all the Cheetos all over the floor and he's stepping in them and he's got all the dust all over him? I can't watch it. It absolutely turns me. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all on his hands, in it.
It's everywhere. It's
bullseyes licking it off the guy's hands.
It's hanging. Anyway, I can't agree about the cheese. Salt and vinegar and prawn cocktail. I'm pretty much salt and vinegar everything there, Darb. So I'm sorry, mate. The cheese just doesn't do it for me. Just
if anyone's listening, the fantasies chat has stopped and we're into the any other bollocks section.
We're into bollocks mode. Sussex Martlet, Flaming Hot Monster Munch, the best. They are really good. I think we're all on board there. Tom Hartnell, what's it's a disgusting. Won't go near him. Orange finger yuck. Tom, I am all over it. Orange finger, absolutely disgusting.
They are kids' crisps, aren't they?
Yeah, they're hanging. Frank FF stuff. Chocolate beats crisps hands down. I'd argue that. I'm sorry, Frank. I'm a crisp man, definitely. I've had an egg today, and it was lovely. But crisps, I can just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. With chocolate, after I've had one, I'm a bit. Rob Knight says, with crisps, give Mano Massa a try. Has anyone heard of that? Mano Massa? I've never heard of him. We'll have to look at that. Tom Hartnell, skips for prawn cocktail in it. Can't go away from that. I do love skips. You stick them on the end of your tongue and you can hear them fizzing and melting. Have you had skips, Dan?
Yeah, I've had skips. Yeah, I've had skips.
Remember
you used to put them on the end of your tongue and
stick
fizz.
them on your tongue and fizz. You remember them, yeah.
Like acid.
Any more chats?
Massa. I see it now.
What's that?
Well, they're too expensive. Do you shop in Waitrose? Like we're all Asda.
I'm Aldi, mate. I have Snackers instead of Pringles. Don't worry about that.
These look really posh.
Mano Massa. We'll have to have a look at them.
Tortillas with spirit. There you go.
Waitrose.
We'll have to.
We've got shop at Waitrose listening. We're going up in the world.
If we win Sky, we can buy a few of them. Look, otherwise, not sure about that. Ian Parrin, do me a quaver. Get something decent like Brannigan's. Ian, they've gone.
Don't exist.
They don't exist anymore.
Discontinued.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Got asbestos in them.
And Dan Wright says the dust is the worst. I'm glad I'm not by myself. They absolutely make my skin crawl. And my kids are a bit older now, so they're not too bad. They clean themselves up. But when they were kids, they used to kind of go, clean my fingers. You'd be like, getting the old wet wipes out. Absolutely.
Remember you giving me jip for my fear of my phobia of baked beans?
Beans, yeah.
Crisp dust.
Oh, crisp dust is the worst, especially on crisps like that. Anyway, but I've got a lot. I've got a lot in the chat. Glenn Murray, Aldi's snack right. Yeah, can't argue with them. Glenn, they're about half the price of Walkers, and they're pretty good. If anyone has got, if anyone shops at Aldi and gets their version of Pringles, the sour cream and onion are better than Pringles, and they're about 60p or something. Absolutely gorgeous. And Rob says you can get Mano Massas anywhere. I think we're giving him a bit of a hard time over Waitrose here.
Lost a listener.
Good. You lost a listener.
I was joking. It just looked posh packaging.
Really good. Crisp chat there, guys. I was going to try and find, because it was sent in late. What was this question we had? It was something to do with Benny.
I think Corf said if he had to lick chocolate, or if Dan had to lick chocolate off Benny Blanco's chest, what would it be? What would he prefer, Nestle or Cadbury's? I think it was something like that. So Dan, on you go.
I wouldn't be partaking in any of that sort of activity, but I don't mind the dairy milk.
With a bit of chest hair. Bear Bear says McCoy's, Disco, Space Invaders, Monster Mr. Good Stuff. Bear Bear, I'm with you. They're just classics. Absolute classics. And
do you remember Transformal snacks?
Yeah, definitely. Well,
they were.
I live in the back of Beyond, right? And some of the shops actually still sell some of this, like, really, really retro stuff. And my kids are used to it. It's good. I tell you what.
Do you know what Sorry, mate.
You go on.
What I do one week, right, is like go on about, because a lot of people listen to this, like we do have some young'uns, don't we? You can tell on Twitter, student stuff. I want to go on about like how back in the day, like when we used to take the charts off, the top 40 onto like a cassette player and stuff like that, or you don't have Netflix, so you'd have to go down to Blockbuster or Choices and spend an hour picking out a film and then pay 20 quid for like all that sort of stuff. I think.
Look at Line of Duty now, right? Nights. Like Line of Duty now, you've got to wait week on week to watch it. I haven't done that for years. It's the only program. Imagine having to do that for every single thing you watch. It's be like it's absolute madness, isn't it?
Don't mention Line of Duty, mate. We'll lose half the listeners. They probably forgot it's on.
No, well, as I say, my missus, that's a bit thing. My wife is. She says, make sure now you don't go chatting shit after. Make sure you know that you come down for Line of Duty. We also had Zvonimir. Everyone needs to try Walker's KFC Zinger. I haven't tried them, but I bet they would be nice. And also Transformers 10p Unreal value. Yeah, they're probably a bit more now. I would say. I think that's it. Luke says, Paul, watch out. There's a tin of baked beans beeping up on you. And just get back to basics. Liam says he has 8 transfers left. So Paul
Dorrian, yeah.
Liam Dorrian, last year's champ, has got 8 transfers left. And Sussex Marlet, I very nearly transferred Edison to Mendy yesterday. Thank God I didn't. Okay, let's move on. From the questions, the Hub £500 League, 10th place, Daniel Mitchard. This won't have changed much from last week because obviously only got yesterday's games. It doesn't include this evening's games. 9th, Sean King. 8th, Colin Price. 7th, Daniel Wright. 6th, Pete Kemp. 5th, Peter Brown. 4th, Mark Burgess. 3rd, Oliver Colgan. 2nd, Kerry Vintis. Alan Nadeem still top, only 3 points clear of Kerry though. They're having a bit of a ding dong there at the top of the £500 league. Well played, everyone who is in there and is still in for winning the. I think the top 3 get paid in this league. So well done, anyone there who is I'm surprised that none of you guys are in there yet. Tough crowd.
Tough going, mate. 53rd. Can't get anywhere near that top 10.
Four Nations League. Liam and my teams are out with the running, as probably you could say Dan's second team is. My team is 5th, 2788. Paul's is on 2801 and 2812. Liam is on 2820. Dan is top, so he's 53rd overall. 2832. Apparently, Saif Ali just said Bruno got man of the match in today's game, which is nice for, well, it's nice for captainers.
That's not nice.
I don't think it's very nice for those who didn't captain, because he's, 98% owned or whatever.
He got tier 2 shots as well. So
55 passes.
He ended up 11. Yeah, he ended up
3 tackles. Points. That's annoying, isn't it?
Oh, he had a bit of a haul. So only a 7-point swing, I want to say, between Kane and Bruno now, which was looking very, very nice earlier. If anyone hasn't got Kane or Bruno, you'll probably have a bit of a slide. Dan Wright says, I know I'm at most the second best Dan Wright playing Sky. And Tom says that'll put Bruno 11 points. That is annoying indeed. Okay. Finally, Dan, what's upset you this week?
Well, loads of stuff, mate. Easter's upset me. Are you playing that clip? Because if you are, we need to put a bit of a warning out. If you're going to play that, I can tell me other moans first, or what?
No, I tell you what. Let's play that and work off that. So, if you didn't see,
there's a bit of swearing.
There is a bit of swearing. So, Dan recorded an Easter rant on Friday. He sent it to me and Paul and said, "Look, I'm going to do this on Sunday." He'd had a hell of a day on Friday with the family. Absolutely Easter mad they all are. And Dan wasn't having any of it. And do you know what I loved about this one, Dan? It was the absolute passion in your voice, because I listened to it and I resonated with every single word. And I gave it to my wife to listen to, and she said, "Oh my God, just like you, unbelievable." I was just like, it's an absolute farce.
I'd literally gone to move the car, mate, and I couldn't move the car, and that was the only time I had like a minute peace all day, right? And I just thought, because I normally just do this rant, and like sometimes I think, maybe I should have run it past the boys first to see what they think, or if this is too over the top.
Class.
So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to record it and send it to them just for their ears. And that was just a minute. It just came to me and out there, because sometimes I think about what I'm going to say, but that was just out there. So
I don't actually lull
the clip, mate,
very often, but I lulled. I listened to it because I could absolutely resonate. So there is a bit of swearing. So if you've got kids or whatever else, you may want to cover these for a minute. It's only about half a minute long, but this was Dan's rant on Friday.
Easter, yeah? That's fucking getting a joke nowadays, right? My missus, she wanted an Easter tree, yeah? Like hang eggs on it and all this sort of shit. An Easter tree, never heard of it. Used to just do like an Easter egg hunt or something, Easter eggs. Now people are sending my kids fucking gifts, cards. That's fucking crazy. How our man popped round, he bought a cake, an Easter cake. And we had kids come round, knocking today, for fucking mini eggs and shit. Like trick-or-treaters. It's fucking gone mad.
Absolutely awesome rant. I'm sure you will all agree. Easter trees, Easter cakes, Easter gifts, Easter cards. What's going on? Do you know what? I feel so. This is a podcast in its own right. Do you know we do our retro podcast? Like, I don't know, Halloween, Easter. Yeah, seeing how all these events now, people just want them to roll over, kind of one to the other. It's now like Halloween now. On the same day, some people take down their Halloween stuff, they put up their Christmas tree, and I just think by the time you get to Christmas, you'd be bored of Christmas, wouldn't you? And then in January now, in all the shops, it's like Easter eggs being sold in January. It's just it's just madness.
Easter's like a mini Christmas now, though, isn't it? We got 4 days of Easter and stuff, and there's presents, and just like when I was a kid, it was like you get an Easter egg and Easter bunny's been, or when you were young. I'm not saying when I was 12, like when I was like, oh, the Easter bunny's been, he's left you a thing, okay, lovely. But now it's like all gifts and cards and this and decorate, and you're like, what is going on? It's like a mini Christmas. You're like, what is going on?
We'll be having turkey soon, mate. I bet you'll be having turkey and decorations and decorating the front of your house and all this stuff. It's just like, what?
There is round here. There's houses decorated. They've got a bunting outside and stuff like that. But we had kids come round, knock on the door. They're like little basket. They're like, hello, and they're like, oh, hello, happy Easter, and they stood there and like, what do you want? And they're like, my missus is like, go get them some sweets or something. I'm like, what? Like, You what? Not my sweets, surely. So we had to give them like a couple of Mars, but then you're like, what is going on?
Not
Like,
my sweets.
what? It's like, it's not, people don't go around trick or treating. Like, give them some mini eggs. I just don't know, mate. It's gone mad. It's gone mad.
It has. I can't stick it, and I think because I'm pretty, I don't know, when I was growing up, everything was really, really simple. You know, you had a Christmas, you had a Christmas gift, and you had an Easter egg, and stuff, and it just seems like everything's bonkers, and like kids are going to be so spoiled, like, and they're going to grow up thinking that this is real life, and it's needless. It's just unnecessary. It's mad. Luke Shiletto says, one of my neighbours.
Fergie's
One
gone.
of my neighbours has put up an inflatable Easter bunny. Oh, and he said, wrong
Get
end.
a picture.
And Dan,
So yeah, it's just annoying.
Dan Wright says, never heard of Easter trick or treat in my life. It's going to happen. You wait till look at Halloween. Well, it used to be years ago. It was, you go around in a black bag and try and get a lolly or something. Now it's
and you wouldn't dress up. You just go knock around. No one would answer the doors, and that's it. Now you go around. Everyone's decorated the house. The people at the house, they've all dressed up, and then people, which had never happened when I was young, but people have Halloween parties, don't they? And they all have a big old like piss up and stuff. And you're like, oh, I'd have been up for that, but yeah, you just go knock around a few old biddies' doors. They don't answer. Throw some eggs at their house, and that's it. Like,
I think it's our age. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah,
you haven't got kids, have you, Paul? Does that?
Yeah.
What do you think about Easter and Halloween and all? Where it's going?
I don't know. My girlfriend's a drama teacher, so she's into all of that
Loves
kind of
it,
stuff. Anyway, like kids round the corner. We were friends with the mum and dad, and she took like treats round to their house. I know it wasn't trick or treating kind of Easter version of, but
he's one of them, Dan. He's fucking one of them.
He's one of them.
Have you got an inflatable bunny in your garden, Paul?
Don't have an inflatable bunny, but with that arcade machine, it looks like it's like welcome the kids over. It looks dodgy.
I've got a couple more moans as well, mate.
Moan away. This is what it's all about. This is why people listen to this podcast.
Chelsea, right? That's just sort it out, because that was shit, right? Really ruined. Like, I see on Twitter straight away, people are like, can we have another international break? Because that was rotten. That was hoping for 1-0 or clean sheet, or some mad people bringing Werner and stuff, hoping for he's going to score, but ain't going to happen. But at least what a clean sheet. So that's annoying. I keep hearing people say Jota the Slaughter, right? That sounds like someone who should be on the sex register. I don't like that. Let's stop saying Jota the Slaughter. Come on. And then I'll go moan at you as well, right?
Me?
Fergie? Yes.
Me?
Yes, you. Have you got a book coming out or an album? I see you on other podcasts. Planet One, you were this women on this, right? I was expecting to see on the bloody One show or Loose Women or something. I thought he's everywhere this week.
I had an absolutely mad week last week, but I really enjoyed it. And you know what? Being a guest on a podcast, I got to sit in your peers' shoes. You just rock up at 9:50 and just spout out your crap for an hour or wherever else. There's a lot more to it when you're doing all the hosting and tech and slides and all graphics and all this kind of stuff. But just to rock up and just have a chat I loved it. I was on the FPL Wildcats, and you know what? I tipped up on the Wildcats actually. Norman Conquest was in the chat actually. He's normally on this evening, isn't he? But I tipped up Salah. I think it was Salah, Jota, and Trent triple up on wildcard in 31. And they all looked at me like I was absolutely stark raving mad. So when that happened last night, I was giving it the old, come on, that's what I was. I did before. Yeah, and I went on there on James's, like, really enjoyed that. Just as a guest, just chatting about fantasy and the fixtures. It forced me to look at the fixtures as well, because normally I just rely on you two guys and piggyback off you, Pierre. But I actually had to do a bit of planning and thinking myself. But yeah, if you haven't listened, if you don't listen to Rant FPL's Skypod, make sure you listen every week anyway. But I was on last week, and as usual, I think normally their pods are about kind of 40 odd minutes long, 50 minutes long. hour and 20 with me on. Don't worry about that. I love to garble on, as everyone knows. Paul, you had a bit of a story on the weekend.
Oh yes,
a little one.
Yeah, yesterday when Chelsea were playing West Brom, we were going out at half time, my girlfriend and I, and we've got a big Bernese Mountain Dog. Patio doors were open, so the dog was out the back. And when West Brom scored, I shouted "get in" pretty aggressively, and my missus came storming down the stairs and had a go at me because she thought I was talking to the dog to get him to come in from outside. So yeah.
I reckon you were shouting at the dog, but it's kind of a reverse thing where you then said, "Oh no, look, West Brom just scored," or whatever. Glenn says,
I could do that to the kids actually. If the kids are annoying me, I could be, "Oh, you knobhead," or something like that. And the missus, I'll talk. Oh no, football, of course, football.
I'm talking to Fergie. I'm saying he's got another podcast. He shouldn't be. Glenn said that he's pretty sure that I said on Planet FPL that Kane doesn't haul. Did I say that? Did I say Kane doesn't haul? I can't. I'm not saying I didn't, Glenn, but if I
said Calvert-Lewin don't haul.
I said I was wrong.
Sure someone said.
I said
Calvert-Lewin.
I said Calvert-Lewin doesn't haul. I'm not sure I said Kane, but anyway.
You're not going to miss a hat trick off Calvert-Lewin, are you?
Glenn, clean your ears out. Bebe says, Easterween, get your 10p basket and knock at Dan's house. Cadbury's cream eggs hidden all around the garden, an Easter tree with Dan dressed as a bunny, an Easter raffle for his Sky FF listeners. Get round to Dan's house. Get round to Norwich. Get in there. And Zvonimir, one of my neighbours, walked around the street with a Richard Madeley mask and bunny ears. See them. What the hell is that all about? Interesting one there from Zvonimir.
He played for AC Milan, Zvonimir Boban. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Croatia.
Yes. Yeah, Croatia.
You're
yeah,
right.
Class.
I wonder that.
I doubt it was him, but...
No, I think it is. That'd be awesome if it was him. Okay, any more rants? I don't think I've got one this week. I don't think I have. I share your Easter pain, Dan. I've got to be honest. It's just everything. You just seem to move from one unnecessary event onto another. I think it's because as well, you've got there's obviously there's Mother's Day in March or April or whatever, and then Father's Day, and then Easter, and then Valentine's. I've also got my wife's birthday and two kids' birthdays. All in this little period.
Yeah, same.
And it just seems from every fucking week is got to
buying cards and presents, stuff in it. Cakes.
Cakes. Easter cake.
That annoyed me.
Remember,
it's getting old.
Remember that leaked Chelsea team that was wrong for the FA Cup game? So not only had that screwed me out of my 3 transfers that week, but I'd put all the Chelsea players in, which I wouldn't have done this week because I was only doing it for the extra fixture gains. So I took out Ederson for Mendy, brilliant. So he didn't. So he was supposed to play against Sheffield United, a clean sheet. Didn't get that. Got -2 yesterday. Ederson got a clean sheet, 6 points.
Worst.
Brought in Rudiger, didn't play. Brought in Aspilicueta, livid with it.
Absolute nightmare that was. I can't believe he did that. And they even republished the team and got it wrong again, didn't they? Because then they had to change the bench thing or something. They changed it 3. Tom, just to finish off, genuinely every month there is shit to buy. And remember, adult life is hard, man. It is. I don't know. I'm really fortunate actually. My wife is very good. She generally tends to take care of most things and buy gifts and stuff, but it's just I just getting old and selfish. Dan, do you think? I'm not sure. Quick last one off Boban. Desperate to know the WrestleManias Paul has been to. Can he share which years, Dan? Paul, did you go?
32, 33, and 34.
There we go.
Is 3 of the worst 5 WrestleManias in history.
Nightmare for you, mate. Okay, so that is it from us. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support and interaction. The crisp chat was top notch. We definitely need to have I think we need a full podcast on crisps. I don't know, guys. I just think crisps are such an important topic. I tell you, for those, just a tip for those who like salt and vinegar. So I love salt and vinegar crisps. Co-op salt and vinegar own crisps, their own brand crisps. They've got what's it called when they're extra special or whatever, that kind of version. They're $1.70 for 1 pack, like a big pack, or 2 for £2 on offer. They are quite possibly the nicest crisps I've wouldn't say ever eaten. Like Brannigan's number one, but they're a very close second. Salt and vinegar, Co-op, special selected crisps. They are absolutely banging. I'll just leave everyone with that. Thank you so much, everyone. Could everyone please retweet the podcast when we tweet it out later or tomorrow morning? Dan, where can people find you?
Twitter, Dan Cox 82. Please give us a follow. And the articles on the hub every week, Thursday or Friday. So yeah, and like Fergie said, really appreciate everyone listening. Any questions and all that is a nice sort of little like a social event in it for us, really. So thanks for tuning in.
But mate, Paul, where can people find you?
Twitter at Paul McAnulty 1 MCANULTY.
And my Twitter handle is changed. It's actually changed. I changed it this week. I've been meaning to do it for a long time. I haven't got around to it, but it's now at FFH_Fergie. If you don't follow us, please feel free to follow us. Dan loves a DM on a Saturday morning, asking stupid questions. He absolutely loves it. Tom and Boban, salt and vinegar Chris with a cup of tea. Can't argue. All over him. Really good tip there for anyone who hasn't done it. And one of my best friends is the manager. The local co-ops always get a bit of a discount as well. This podcast and video will be on the Fantasy Football Hub, Sky and TFF YouTube channel, and also available in all major podcast platforms. If you play Telegraph, we have uploaded a podcast. It was a week or two ago now, but it's still very, very relevant if you haven't seen it and you played the Telegraph. Well worth a watch there. If you liked what you watched, please click the like button and remember to subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. If you enjoyed your listen, please rate the podcast versions and leave some comments. 5-star reviews and comments, guys. It would be really, really appreciated if you could spend the time to do that. It really helps us get a much further reach out to to the wider community. Our handles on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are at FFH_HQ, and our podcast Twitter handle is at FFH_Sky. Please feel free to follow to ask any questions. Our website is fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, where you'll find everything you need for fantasy football all under one roof, including player comparison tools, the fixture ticker, Opta stats, top player team reveals, and much, much more. Also, don't forget ffstuff.co.uk, our partner, Frank. Absolutely incredible website specifically for Sky Fantasy, the Hub and FF Stuff. You don't need anything else for Sky. We have got you completely covered. Good luck to all watchers and listeners for tomorrow night and next weekend. We'll be back live next Sunday at 9 p.m. to look ahead to Sky Game Week 32. Stay safe and good night all.